Mike, to build on that, I would imagine that a lot of faculty, if they're looking at this constraints that you've talked about in terms of wages, benefits, I know of some schools in the Philadelphia area that basically told their employees they're not getting their benefits for the next 6 months because they have to close a deficit in the university's budget. Would you imagine that they're getting frustrated with the lack of action by presidents on behalf of their institutions to try to at least get ahead of some of these changes? Or do you think they're okay with just the hand wringing and say, please, Congress, fix it?
I think there's a tendency to speak with a forked tongue on this, which is that faculty do want these budget problems solved. They tend not to want them to be solved as a result of cutting academic programs.
Yeah,
Inflation. The problem you have is we can talk about the cost of athletics. We can talk about the cost of student services and maintenance and repair. But at most institutions, 70% of the budget is in compensation for faculty and staff. So if you're going to take a serious look at cutting a budget shortfall, it's pretty hard to do it and not take some kind of whack at how many people you employ and what you pay them.
yeah,
That's the brutal part of this. And that's where the faculty desire for these budget problems to be addressed meets the reality that doing so involves actions that they don't really want to see happen.
right. Because of the imbalance. That's right. What do you think? I mean, do you think faculty are sitting back saying, why can't you all figure this out with athletics? We keep spending more money than we have.
Well, no doubt. And if there's one common thread over three presidencies in 23 years, the faculty want to see not just shared governments, but shared pain, right? If
Yeah,
you're going to do it to us, I think if there was a common concern in resource allocation, regardless, good times and bad, then equal, right? Having some degree of shared was top of mind. And, Karen, this is just not going to end well, right? Because some of our tendencies in athletics are very similar to academics. We have less students, we're generating less net tuition revenue, but at the same time, our expenses continue to go up. And that's where the kind of the accumulated, as Mike and I talk a lot about, that this builds up over time. And as a president of a small college, when we started really leveraging aid and leveraging athletic aid, we knew it was almost every financial aid package that we offered, Karen, was critical, right? Because you didn't want to over award. You hear a lot about stacking financial aid, combining it with merit and need based. But when Publix started discounting, when Publix started offering in-state tuition to out-of-state, our ability to generate revenue just continued, right, to diminish. And here's where we find ourselves. We spoke to one very strong faculty voice who do she does not believe that we can fix this without bargaining. The faculty have to be organized to the level to actually have a degree of contractual obligations to how we allocate. And given where we are with the demands and the resources, I really can't disagree with it.